So I wanted to do a video on Carl Jung, uh, women, uh, email on women, and explain exactly what something is to Christians, to the Christian male, what a female is to the Christian male. Uh, so I would like to start by doing this really funny skit I did one time when I was in high school about myself because I like fat chicks. And I said, the skinny male will inevitably seek out a much larger female in order because to feel much more, so he can feel safe and secure with a larger mate. They become obsessed with their mates that are 4 times their size. The smaller male will go out and forage for food while the larger female will stay at home. I had an entire skit I did about it that was just me being funny. But we're first going to have to understand exactly what women represent in Carl Jung's psychology before we can explain why Christians think the way they do about women. In Carl Jung's psychology, feminine energy, or eros, represents the intuition, receptivity, creativity, inner connection, existing in everyone regardless of gender. It serves as counterweight to the masculine energy, logos, emphasizing the emotional depth, relational awareness, and ability to embrace the unconscious and navigate complex and darkness or chaos. Animus and animas in men, are the unconscious feminine side is the anima, which must be integrated for wholeness. Qualities embrace intuition, deep qualities the female energy has. It embraces intuition, deep feeling, nurturing, circularity, and circular. I think the AI may have made up a word. And as noted on the conversion, a cleansing immersion in the darkness of the unknown. Symbolism, often linked to the moon, the earth, and the subconscious. Purpose, integrating the energy allows the personal transformation, overcome rigidity, and achieving psychological balance, often by letting go of obsessive control and embracing vulnerability, according to insights from Carl Jung website. Inner work, listening to dreams, exploring emotions, engaging in therapy, journaling, practicing receptivity, nurturing through slow learning, reflection, yada yada yada. In this thing where it says the repression of control and embracing vulnerability. Now, when Carl Jung talks about the negative side of the male energy, the male ego, the argos, he goes on about how when pushed too far into masculinity, the male becomes controlling. He doesn't become a protector. He becomes insecure. He becomes fearful. He becomes worried. He becomes scared. He becomes paranoid. And then, beside all that is the facade. He covers it up. Doesn't talk about it, doesn't explain it, doesn't explain where his insecurities come from. He covers it up and then acts like he doesn't do that. I'll give you a simple example. I've had multiple female friends who have Christian boyfriends, and they're like, he's psychic, he knows what I like. And I was like, he's bugged your phone, he knows what you're doing because he's listening right now. And then later I get a call from their boyfriend who gets really pissed at me because I told them that they bugged their girlfriend's phone. And they go, I didn't do that. I'm not insecure. I'm not. And they are. But this is an important aspect to understand, because not just the whole bugging the phone thing, not just that guy talked to my girl, I need to kill him, I think like a lizard. First of all, you have to understand the trauma brain and the emotionally stunted. A limited lack of empathy, lack of guilt and remorse, and the fact that when you're emotionally stunted because of the trauma in your life, you develop control issues early on. And you are trapped in the mindset of a child. And in Carl Jung stuff about femininity, he talks about how women represent security. So, what is a man to do when he is anally raped by the church leader? He's traumatized. He's severely emotionally stunted. He's locked in the brain of a child, and he stumbles upon a woman. Give up. Lock it down. You love bomb, you lie, you do everything you can to get that woman to agree to marry you, and then you get rid of divorce, and you tell her you have to be married eternally, because you are too weak of a man to face the fact that you're insecure. And this is Stu and me talking to Witchy Poo at Ingalls and him trying to murder me all over again, which is the peak of an insecure male. But you see, the thing about this is the narcissist writes the narrative. They spin the story that they're not insecure. That's not what's happening here. You're insecure. You're insecure. There's nothing else happening here. You just don't like to look in the mirror because the mirror is a scary thing. And I know what that's like because I have an inferiority complex, but I look in the mirror. Okay. And I am many things. Insecure is not one of them. It's not. That's what happens when you don't have humility. And Carl Jung talks about that, how important humility is to tame the ego. Because if you don't practice humility, your ego inflates out of control. And then you start becoming something you're simply not supposed to be. Your ego turns authoritarian and it takes over your mind. Carl Jung describes it like a demonic possession. So, this, and you need to think full cycle about how this goes inside the Christian male's brain. Once again, a traumatized, emotionally stunted individual with a tetraled brain. Tetraled makes it difficult to feel your emotions to begin with. You think like a 2-year-old, and you want a woman, you want a female, but you also don't want to take responsibility for the insecurities that creature creates in you. So what are you left to do? Control. And this is why Christians hate divorce, by the way. Because when the male acts like a prick, acts up, he has all the excuses in the world for his behavior. And none of them involve developing or changing. It is all everybody else's fault because they have no agency in what they do. And this is the truth about all Christian males. They have no agency in anything they do. And if you were to ask them about it, they would tell you they definitely did. And then you just ask them for an example and they'd go, ugh. Because they have no agency in anything they do. Now, the security of the goddess, the female. One, it is a Christian tactic to make sure you never realize the kind of power you have over somebody. The Christian male is a codependent, sad creature that's just scared all the time. Weak, pathetic, inferiority complex that's extremely insecure. And they come around secure people, and it terrifies them because they go, how can you be secure when everything's so terrifying? Well, all the terrifying shit's made up in your head. It's all fake. It's not real. Never was. But this is an extremely important aspect to understand in regards to... and now we get to the video that... the part of the video that people definitely aren't going to like when I say it. Christian men hate women. They hate the autonomy of women because part of that autonomy involves them being able to say, I'm leaving. I'm done. I don't want you in my life. You're an awful human being. And that hurts, and that's forcing them to be vulnerable. And they don't want to look vulnerable. They don't want to look weak. They want that love and affection they never got as a kid. And it is the wife's responsibility to give it to them. Because they think like 2-year-olds. But they should never have to confront the fact that they think like 2-year-olds. They should never have to confront the fact that their own religion traumatized them. Because they love their made-up stupid religion. It's important for the made-up stupid bullshit enables them to do. And it's important for the control. And the authoritarian. And the authoritarian is nothing but an overinflated ego and an insecure child screaming it wants control over things it simply should never have control over to begin with. This is why female sexuality is terrifying to Christian men. This is why the female movements, anytime women come into power, Christian men get terrified. Because it is a rival to their own authoritarian, made up bullshit in their head, where they have to feel some ounce of control over a situation because they're insecure and they need the woman to make them feel secure. They need the female to make them feel secure. And when they see a powerful woman, it makes them feel insecure immediately. It's terrifying for them because they're weak. They're weak men. I would argue they're pseudo men. If you were a Christian man, and if your wife left you and you're like, I'll kill myself, or I threaten to kill anybody that talks to my girl, you're insecure. You're insecure. You're insecure. That's the end of it. The word's called radical acceptance. Once you radically accept it, you can fix it. You can develop and become a real man, not a pseudo man. And this ends my little thing on why the Christian man is so insecure. Thank you.